So these are proud achievements indeed. I would like to use this opportunity to focus on several facets of Mr. Mohammed's career, which I consider to be especially relevant to the condition of our country at this time. Mr. M.H. Mohammed rose to the highest levels of public life in our country as a member of a national political party, the United National Party. He began his political career with a leftist ideology, but he moved across to the United National Party, and that was the vehicle through which he rose to adorn some of the highest officers of the Sri Lankan state. Now this is a very valuable lesson for us today in Sri Lanka. He served his community to the fullest and received the highest appreciation from the Muslim community. But in order to serve his community, he did not at any point in his career consider it necessary to form a political party which had a specifically ethnic or religious identity. He never believed that that was the way forward. He rose to the pinnacle of political office in our country through a national political party. And this is true of several others who served at various times in Sri Lanka. The longest serving foreign minister of this country, the late A.C.S. Hamid, was a leading member of the United National Party. Then earlier on, the Markan Markar family was also distinguished in the United National Party. So this whole idea that different communities require distinct political parties founded explicitly on ethnic considerations was a concept, an idea that was entirely alien to the values and convictions of the late minister M.H. Mohammed. Today in our country we have seen the detrimental consequences of splitting up our society in that way. Different political parties representing different ethnic groups has been detrimental to the vital national interests of our country. So Mr. M.H. Mohammed is a refreshing example that that is not the way to go about it. The United National Party as well as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party have been served by members of different communities. So this is something that we have to bear in mind when we assess and evaluate the contribution that Mr. Mohammed made to the national life of Sri Lanka. The second aspect I would like briefly to comment on is that his whole record of service and the attitudes that he encapsulated Sri Lanka. The second aspect I would like briefly to comment on is that his whole record of service and the attitudes that he encapsulated militated against the rise of extremism. As a member for Moranla, he was very accessible to his people, not only the people of Moranla, but the larger community. So sensitivity to the needs of the people, their hopes and aspirations, made the emergence of extremism unnecessary and unlikely. If people feel that they are being listened to, that their needs are being addressed in a spirit of compassion and sensitivity, they would not feel the need to embrace extremist ideologies. After all, extremist ideology is not a mainstream phenomenon at all, it is a fringe phenomenon. So the need of the hour, and this is something vitally important to Sri Lanka at this time, to wean members of minority communities away from the seed of extremism which can be sown in young minds, in disoriented and disenchanted young minds. That happens when there is bitterness, when there is indignation against the social order. It is an expression of resentment against society. But people like Mr. Mohammed were able to serve his community and to ensure that they did not get into that mood of despair, which is the breeding ground of extremism. I think that is also something that is exemplified by the illustrious career of the late M.H. Mohan. The final thing I would